All right guys, so today I'm going to be answering all of your questions, so stay tuned. Hey guys, my name is Nikki and I want to welcome you here to Carry Grace. Okay, so a while back I put out a call for questions on Instagram and then also on my community tab here on YouTube. You guys had some great questions, and so today I'm going to sit down and answer those questions. I have all of these questions on my phone, and so please excuse me, I'm going to be looking down at my phone to read off these questions. All right, so the first question is, do you set aside any downtime during the day for yourself? The answer is yes. Most of the time in the evenings, I do a pretty good job of having, all of our routines done and things for the day, and then just letting myself unwind. A lot of times I will spend some time with my husband and my family, and then a lot of times later in the evening I will migrate to our bedroom by myself and I will watch just a show or read a book or something like that. And that is one of my favorite ways to kind of just unwind and have some time to myself. Another thing that I do is some days I will leave the house for just a few minutes by myself and I will go get coffee. And it's not long, it's just, a few minutes, but sometimes having a little break during the day is super helpful. All right, so the next question is, how did you keep it together when your boys were little? Daily struggler here. I'm not sure that I did. I remember when my boys were very young and I felt like I did struggle a lot. Looking back though, I would say that my best advice would be to just do the best that you can. Set up routines, but have flexible routines, and then give yourself some grace. You got to remember that you're in a season and it's not always going to be this way. The other thing that I did is when my kids were young and they had toys out all of the time, rather than constantly picking up after them all day long, I found it very helpful to just kind of have a few check-in points throughout the day where I did a quick tidy. So, 2 or 3 times a day, do a quick tidy. Maybe have that time work with something else you're doing. Maybe attach it to like a snack time or, lunch time or nap time. Something that you're going to be doing every day. And then when that task is done, kind of just add it to that. So you're like, hey, we're done having our snack, we're done with lunch, we're done with naps or whatever. And then just add on a quick tidy to that. And that way you're not constantly picking things up all day long. All right, so the next question I have is, how do you reset after you've had a bad day? Usually I take a nap. If I can. Sometimes if you're just having a bad day and you feel like you need to reset, do whatever it is you need to recharge. A lot of times for me, that is a quick nap. I will lay down either on the couch or I'll go in my room because I can make it nice and dark in there, and I will close my eyes for 20 minutes, and sometimes that's all I need. The other thing that I like to do is I like to just remind myself that it was just a bad day. It doesn't mean I have a bad life. And I will just remember that I need to just do the next thing as best as I can do the next thing and not focus on what hasn't gone well throughout the day. All right, so next question, and this is a fun question. It is, how are you enjoying your new home in Florida compared to Alabama? So we moved from Alabama to Florida about a little over 3 years ago now, and it's very different. We loved living in Alabama. We loved our home there. We lived in our home for like 9 years, I want to say. It was the only home that my youngest son really had known at the time, so it was a huge transition. We had a great church there. We had great friends there. My family is there. I had lived there for over 30 years, like in that area. My husband had lived there for a long time, and so it was a huge adjustment. Now that we have made the transition, now that we have been in Florida for several years now, my kids have fully adjusted, we have fully adjusted, and I can honestly say that I don't think any of us would choose to go back to Alabama. We really are very happy here. We have made great friends, we've made great connections, we love the church that we attend. We are really enjoying our home and things like that. So it has been a good thing. All right, next question is, I know you love planners and I do as well and have collected a lot over the years. How do you organize your planners? The important information you want to keep, or paper in general? This is my downfall. I'd love to know if you have a paper organization system that is working for you. Okay, so this is kind of like a couple of different questions. First question is planners. How do I organize my planners? You guys know that I like to review planners. Sometimes I switch planners throughout the year, just kind of depending on kind of what I have going on. And it would be very easy for me to accumulate a lot of planners. And sometimes that does happen. What I do though is, because obviously I don't have a place to just store massive amounts of planners. So I have a shelf in a bookcase that is in our den, and then I also have like a small shelf in a small cube shelf. Like I have one cube in our homeschool closet, and that is where my planners live. That is kind of the boundary that I have set up. And if that shelf starts getting too full, or the overflow that I have in the homeschool closet, if that starts getting, you know, too full, then it is time for me to purge and donate and recycle and things like that. Now, as far as the information that is kept in the planners that I need to move from planner to planner every year, I am actually going to be doing something different. I have used many different planners. I like all of the planners. I have used planners where you can kind of house a lot of information, and then you have to redo that information every year. I am actually going back to using a simple planner and then having a like home journal, like a binder, I guess you could call it. Mine's not actually going to physically be a binder. It's going to be more of a planner, like a disc bound system, but I'm going to be doing that so that I can keep all important information that I need from year to year in one place. So it's going to be where my new zone cleaning lists live and things like that. It is something that I'm currently working on. I don't have it set up perfectly. It is something that I have done in the past though, and I felt the most organized when I had that system. So that is the reason I'm going back to that. So as far as paperwork in general, that's an area that is not my strong suit. It is definitely an area that I have to work really hard at. I do have a pretty good system though. Right here you can see I've got a basket that we keep near our entrance, and in this basket I have file folders. So I've got like an inbox, like a folder that I consider my inbox, and all the mail goes there. And when I say all the mail, I mean the things that I need to keep. I try really hard to, you know, go ahead and recycle or trash the things that are trash. You know, flyers and just things that we don't need. I try to get rid of those right away, but the things that I do need to keep and file, I put them in that inbox. And then ideally I would go through this once a week, but generally it's usually once a month. I will go through and I will, you know, file anything that needs to be filed, or things that we no longer need. I will go ahead and get rid of them, but it's nice to just have a place, a contained place where I know those papers are going to live. And then I, like I said, I process through them either once a week or once a month. We do have a filing drawer in our desk, and so I have a pretty elaborate filing system in there so that we can keep the things that we need to keep long term. And then each year, at the end of the year or the beginning of the new year, I also go through those and, you know, shred things that we don't need, and then things that we need to keep long term, we have a place for that as well. All right, so the next question is, how do you energize yourself to complete your daily tasks when you don't feel to? This is a great question. Obviously there are days that I don't feel like doing everything that I need to do. What I try to do is I try to remind myself that if I will go ahead and do this thing, it will make my life easier as the day, as the week, as the month, or whatever goes. So I try to just focus on getting things done and moving on to the next thing, because if you don't, things tend to pile up, and I would rather just kind of work through things than have them pile up, because then I have got more work to do. Things take longer, and that is what I try to remind myself of. Now, am I perfect at this? No. There are definitely days where I'm like, you know what, today I just need a nap, and that would do me more good than doing whatever this task is. Take the nap. You just can't do that every day. Know yourself, know that it's okay to take breaks, it's okay to do what you need to do. But like I said, I try to remind myself that doing this thing and getting it out of the way is going to make my life simpler as I continue to move on. Okay, next question, and this has kind of multiple questions in it. It says, I enjoy your cleaning videos very much. Thank you. Do you meal prep? I would love some crock pot or quick and easy recipes. Which area of your home is the most difficult to clean or keep tidy? Do you have an iRobot vacuum, or would you consider getting one? I am debating on getting one. I lose a lot of hair, and it seems like that's all I ever sweep up. Blessings to you and your family. Okay, so let's break this down. Do I meal prep? I do some sort of kind of food prep each week. Usually it is on like a Sunday or Monday after I have grocery shopped. I will come home and things like fruits and veggies, I will go ahead and wash those and chop those and get them ready for the week. If I buy ground beef, depending on how I'm going to be using that ground beef, I will separate it. I will freeze it. A lot of it I will go ahead and brown for things like tacos and sloppy joes and kind of quick meals. I will go ahead and brown it before I kind of separate it into packages. That way meals are easier through the week or throughout the month. Another thing that I like to do is, things like boiled eggs. Some weeks I do a better job than others. Some weeks I do some meal prep for my husband's lunch. I will prep like a week's worth of lunches for him. I'll make something specific and then kind of divide it out. So yes, I do some meal prep. It kind of looks a little bit different every week. I have some kind of basic things that I do. And it also depends on kind of what we're going to be eating that week and what our schedule is going to look like that week. As far as quick, easy meals for the crock pot and things like that, I tend to just kind of rotate through the same easy meals. We don't make super elaborate meals here. We kind of just rotate through the same things, and that has really simplified things. Okay, so the next question in that is, which area in your home is the most difficult to keep clean and tidy? So for me, that would actually be our dining room. And the reason for that is because that is where we homeschool, and it is also a lot of times where if I've got some kind of project or something that I'm working on, I tend to like to kind of spread it out all over the dining room table. I don't have any storage in the dining room. We just have like the table and then like a little side table. So sometimes I have stacks and know where to put them because I'm going to kind of go right back to them, and I don't want to take it back upstairs or back to the other room. So the dining room is actually the hardest for me, and it's just because I don't have any storage in there. But I am working on making sure that I kind of clean up and tidy as I go, and just have to remind myself that it's okay to put things away and then get them back out. All right, so do I have an iRobot vacuum? I have a vacuum from Amazon. It's called a Eufy, E-U-F-Y, I think. I will leave a link below. It is a robot vacuum cleaner that is very inexpensive. It is one that I really like. I recommend it. There are so many really good ones that do lots of mapping and have lots of features, and I just wanted something very simple. I do still vacuum my home, but I also like having that robot vacuum to kind of keep up with the daily mess. It kind of keeps up with hair shedding, with crumbs, things like that, and it makes it so that I'm not having to vacuum nearly as often. Now, the particular one that I have, it doesn't do mapping, it doesn't do all of those things. I have to empty it myself. It's not super high tech, but it does a pretty good job for the money, and I am very happy with it. All right, so that's all the questions I had to answer today. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comment section down below. I will either answer you in the comments, or if there's a lot of questions, I can do some kind of other Q&A, or maybe I will just take those questions and answer them in a future video, like either in a cleaning video, just kind of as I'm talking to you guys, or maybe it will be a question that kind of deserves its own video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new to my channel and not already subscribed, please consider subscribing down below, and I will see you guys soon.